Do you see what I see? I see a chicken. I don't see a chicken anymore. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Soap the Great, and I am playing on the TooCrafty Vanilla Amplified server. How is everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope this video finds you well. I am doing perfectly fine. Well, I'm a little bit tired. We'll talk about that before or after I set up what we're going to be doing today. Let's take a look at my personage at the moment. You notice I am completely invisible, and I've got night vision, water breathing, and invisibility on me. And you may note that I have a bunch of junk in my inventory here that looks like I've been fighting some guardians, specifically elder guardians. Yep, I just took out this ocean monument because I need to get some blocks. Yeah, I am in need of some more blocks. And let me just tell you, let me set this up, IRL schedule here. We just finished recording a little tutorial. It's a tutorial for taking apart or taking down the Elder Guardians, and just finished that up, and I'm back at this ocean monument. I'm going to be taking leave of some of the blocks that I have or that are here available in the structure. Okay, so let's see, we want Silk Touch. We'll just go with Silk Touch, put this one away. And yeah, so the reason why we're here, I did originally say that when we returned to our ocean monument project that we would be doing the collecting area, and as I was prepping that, I found that I was running out of materials. Yeah, I needed some more of these and some more dark prismarine. So the problem is I shared some with D, and I don't know who else I might have shared some with. But anyway, I gave a bunch to D because I figured we had enough. But yeah, I was wrong. I do need it, but you know what? She is using that for her own build, and she's very excited to get those. And it's not too hard to take on the ocean monument, at least if you see what I've been doing in the way I do it on that tutorial. Of course, that came out, as far as you're concerned, it came out a few weeks ago. I believe I've got that one scheduled for April the 15th, tax day in the US if you are in the US. And this one is not coming out until early to mid-May, or possibly even around May 15th or sometime later, which would be very interesting indeed. Let's see, what is our current... Okay, we got 2 minutes. I cleared that. There are no other of those lanterns on the back here, so I do want to get the prismarine, or the dark prismarine here. That's a little bit more difficult. So how about we just drop down like so. Yep. Alright, so let me just give you a little bit of an update for what's going on IRL. Okay, so the reason I said I was tired is because I just finished moving a bunch of mulch. If you're not familiar with what mulch is, well, it's used for covering over plants, helping prevent weeds, and helping to make sure that water doesn't leave the root systems of plants too quickly. And I've been placing a lot of it in preparation for making our house look much more presentable for the listing process. So we are close to getting the house listed, which means putting it on the market for somebody else to purchase, or hopefully purchase here soon. But we shall see, we shall see. And over the past weekend, I visited the new town where we're going to be moving, and we looked at something like, I don't know, it was over 10 houses. Just nuts. It was quite the process to go through all of those, and it wasn't too hard. Once once you get an idea for what you're looking for, it doesn't really take that long to eliminate possibilities. So some of them I walked in and I was like, no, nope, I don't want this one. Some of them we saw maintenance nightmares. Why does that have a block missing? I couldn't have hit that one already. That's interesting. So we'll come down here. Just what we're doing is grabbing this. You notice I've got the night vision going away. And we'll get water breathing again and invisibility. There we go. Put those away. Now they're all filled up with water, but what are you going to do? Because we do happen to be underwater. Yep. So some of them were not too hard to say no. No, thank you. And I really wonder how in the world they are asking what they're asking given the condition that their houses were in. But, you know, people are different. So I would want my house to be in a little bit more presentable condition than some of what I saw. But yeah, I can't do much about their preparations. I can do more about my own preparations. And so that's what we've been doing, getting it to look good, hopefully. Pretty good curb appeal. We shall see how well that goes. Alright, so that means doing a lot of mulch and making sure the grass is cut and things like that. We'll get these. You know, if I had the helmet with Aqua Affinity, it would be a lot faster, but we saw earlier one can get overwhelmed by guardians when you do that. So we'll just do it like this, and we'll chat a bit, and then we will cut out, and I'll probably finish most of this off camera. But let's chat. Let's see what else. Okay, so I've talked about gardening. I really enjoy gardening. I've talked about the type of gardening I've done more recently, the square foot gardens. I believe I mentioned those. Just build a bed 4 feet by 8 feet and then divide it up into individual square feet and go based on recommendations by a guy by the name of Mel Bartholomew. He's got a book, and I think he's pretty good at selling books, but the overall technique is it's done all right. We've had pretty good success with it. I told you about that. But let me tell you about some gardening types that I've not had success with. So I have tried something called not square foot, but hay bale gardening. Okay, and I don't know what that's called in other countries. It could be called hay bale. I'm not sure. And if it's not, let me know what you call it in your place or wherever your native tongue is. But it's just a bunch of hay wrapped up, usually in some form of twine. And I got the square bales, or not square, rectangle bales. And what that did is it gave me a little bit of a way to plant some plants. And what you do is you take the hay bale and then kind of move out some of the middle and stuff a plant into it, and then you just keep watering the hay bale. It's an interesting concept, and it had shown some promise, or at least somebody wrote an article that got a lot of feedback on it. So maybe that's more of what happened. But overall, it did not work so well for us. It was rather disappointing. So yeah, we did that once, and we did some tomatoes in it, did some peppers, and what else? Squash, cucumbers. Cucumbers I didn't have much success with. I don't think it was the hay bales. I think it had to do with the fact that they were not getting enough sun. So that I can't blame it on them. But the other problem is that the hay bales are about 2 feet off the ground. And then if you have tomatoes, well, tomatoes can get pretty tall depending on the variety you pick. And I happen to pick what are called indeterminate, which means they don't have a stopping height. They just keep growing and growing and growing. So yeah, they already started out 2 feet off the ground, and then you get them growing 7, 8, 10 feet even, and they quickly outpaced their stakes. I was using stakes to hold them up, and yeah, that wasn't good. The other thing is that hay bales are rather wet underneath. They gather a lot of water, and something that likes to live in places like that are slugs. Yep. You ever dealt with slugs? I'm not a fan. I don't like them, but they were living under the hay bales and then coming out at night and eating my plants. And so I was constantly fighting with snails. I eventually resorted to, phone going off, it's a little alarm I have. I eventually resorted to a bug killer that was formulated for snails, and it was really sad. I had to say, it was really sad. It was a massacre. Those guys didn't know it was coming, and yeah, there were slugs all over the ground. It was yeah, bad memories. So I didn't do hay bale gardening anymore after that. So that was the end of that trial of gardening type. Did I miss one over here? Yes, get that. So hay bale gardening was a bust. Square foot gardening is a little bit better. I'm more excited about that. Let's see what else. Well, I've tried. You know what? I'm going to talk about other gardening later, but I want to make sure that this episode doesn't go too long. I'm going to finish up here in the ocean monument. I'm going to clear all this out. I've got plenty of potions. And I'm getting a lot of the sea lanterns and the dark prismarine, but I'm going to finish clearing this whole thing out. And then what we're going to do is, next episode, we will be at the Guardian Farm once again, hopefully taking on the collection area like I promised for this one. But I'm sorry about that. But, you know, if you need materials, you need materials. There's no getting around it. So that's what you got to do. Got to collect, and I'm still working through the moving and well, that whole process, the selling the house, buying a new house, moving process. And let's see, by the time this video comes out, the house should have been on the market for about a month or so, and we might have even gotten an offer, and depending on how quickly after we listed, we could have sold it by now and could be moving in. I don't know. That's the best I can prognosticate at the moment. How's that for a vocabulary word for you? Prognosticate. If you can tell me what that means, let me know in the description box below for those of you that are in school. And if you're not in school, you just want to look it up, let me know. Love to hear what you have to say. Oh, more potion time. And that means that we need to cut this episode. So, hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully you've enjoyed the little blast into my past for more gardening. What types of gardens have you done? Have you ever done one? Have you done pretty much the same type over and over again? Or have you tried new types here and there? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to get some new ideas, because I am going to do a garden again in the future whenever we do move. And yeah, I'd love to hear new ideas. I like seeing what other people work on. So ideas are not just useful here in Minecraft, but they're useful IRL. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.